So today you are going to write your very first code, and in the next few minutes you are going to build your very first website. Welcome back. If you are made it this far, you're already ahead of so many people who want to learn web development, but they didn't even make an attempt to start. So you are very much and you are already ahead of them. Now let's write some code. Before we start typing, let's understand what HTML actually is. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. HTML is the structure of every website you see today. Now, think of HTML as the structure of every website. Let me say, for an example, you want to build a house. The blocks that come together to build this structure is HTML. Let me the design is CSS, and let me say all the behavior that's inside is the JavaScript. So HTML is the structure of a website. HTML is used to build the structure of a website. Every website you see today, every website you see in your browser, all your favorite websites that you do access, that you do use, all of them have a structure, and this structure are all built with HTML. So HTML, that stands for Hypertext Markup Language, is a language that is used to build the structure of a website. Now we are going to start learning some HTML. I'm going to create a folder here in my desktop, and this is the folder we are going to be using throughout this course. So I'm going to call it web dev. I'm going to call it web dev course. So just like that. So let's open this folder in our VS Code. So all I'm just going to do here, I'm just going to drag this folder into our VS Code. So as you can see, we have web dev course open in our VS Code. You can just click this to trust. So I'm just going to close all this. I'm going to close this because I'm not going to be using it. So you are going to first see a welcome screen like this. So you can just close it. So now I want to start learning HTML. The first thing I want to do here is I'm going to create a folder here, or let's just do this in here. I'm going to create my first file. Let me make this big. I'm going to create my first file here. I'll call it index.html. Now you can see that this have the file format of an HTML. We call it index and have a file format HTML. One thing you should know is that you are going to come across so many websites that name their root file index.html. This is because when you send your website to a server, when you try to host it online, the server always look for an index file. The server always look for an index.html file. So when the server look at this index.html file, the server always use this as the root file, or should I say as the home page, as the home file. This is the first file the server is going to look and render this to the server. So that's why we always developers always name their root file index.html. I'm going to come back and explain it, but first let me give you a basic structure of an HTML document, of an HTML. So the first thing I'm going to do here is we are going to have the doc type. You can see we are going to have the doc type like this. Then you open your HTML tag. I believe all of us are using VS Code, so it's going to give us some auto completion. So the next thing that's going to be inside your HTML is head. Then inside the head, you have your title. Then after that, you are going to have body. You're going to have body here. So this is just the basic structure of a website. Maybe in this body, let me just do an H1 here. And this H1 is going to say hello world. So you can see now this is the basic structure of a website. Before I continue, I want to show you a little setting I made so that you too can follow up this setting. You can go to your settings in here. Then you go to your settings. You click this icon in here. Then you go to settings. In your settings in here, you can see now that we have auto save. I have turned my own auto save to after delay. So click if you have this off. If you have your auto save off, which is going to be off as default, just click auto save after delay. So this helps us to save our code, and we don't need to be doing Ctrl S all the time to save our code. It automatically save our code for us. If we just delay a little bit, our code will be saved. Before we explain this line by line, let's just run this code so that you will see what you will see it showing in our terminal. So first of all, I can let me show you. I can decide to run this code like this because it's an index.html file. I can decide to run it like this. I'll just click the index file here and open it with my browser. I can choose to open it like this. You can see you just finished creating our first website, which is showing hello world. Now I can choose to open it like this, but I want to show you another way that we are going to be using to open our files. Now another way I want to show you is to go to this your tab in here, go to this your extension tab, you click on it, and you look for an extension. We're going to look for an extension called Live Server. So you look for an extension called Live Server. Let me see which one I will download. So anyone will work here, but let me just download this one since this one have more uh numbers of download and high rating. So just click the Live Server here. You click on this Live Server, you install it, wait for it to finish installing. Trust Publish and install. Trust Publisher and install. You click it. So now if you look at this, you know that Live Server has been installed. Now you are going to see it's going to show you something here, go live. You are going to see this in your home, in your homes, your VS Code now go live. So when we just click on this, it's going to automatically start a server. Just allow this, and it's going to open this server now in your default your local host port. You can see this your local host, and it's going to open this server here. So now you don't need to do this again. We'll just be using this live server. Now one of the best thing about using live server is when we just make a change, when we make a changes here, when we make changes in here, for example, I do something like new, our auto save is already saving it automatically, and live server, let me see, let me drag this, and live server will be displaying it in here too automatically without us refreshing our browser. Let me just keep this like this for now. So now that is what I just wanted to show you first before we get into the explanation of this one by one. So now let's start with doc type. What doc type actually means. Now, you don't need to confuse yourself here. This doc type that you will see that is being declared in at the top of every HTML document is just to tell this is just to declare that this document here is using the latest version of HTML, which is HTML5. HTML5 has many extra features. So when you do doc type here, it's going to say that we are going to be using all those HTML5 extra features. It's just sending the information to the browser, telling the browser that we are going to be using HTML5, which is the model HTML. So that's just what this uh, doc type here is doing. Why this HTML tag is just the tag that you put every other thing in it, like you use it to wrap your all other of your HTML documents. All other of your HTML document, like your body, your head, goes inside your HTML tag. So when you want to start an HTML project, and when you want to start writing HTML tag have to be the root, have to be the container that contains any other of your HTML code inside of it. So that's what the HTML tag is just used for. The head tag here contains information about the website. Now, one thing you know is that the head tag here is not being displayed. Anything that is inside this your head tag is not showing in your browser. Anything that is inside this your head tag is not showing in the browser. So if you can see the little example we did here, let me just close this like this so that we can see it properly. So everything that is in your head tag is not showing in the browser. It's just giving information about your web page. So if you can see what we did here, we are not seeing anything in this title, but let's give it a title. Let's give it a title. Let's say my first website. So it save automatically. Now look what happens here. Look at what happens here. The title up here changed to my first website. That's just what this title is doing here. You can see if I remove this back, it go back to the URL. But if I put it back here, you're going to see that to show here. So this head tag here is just giving the information about the website, and the title tag here is just to give the title, the name of the website, the title of the website. Now the body in here is everything that is being displayed in the website, everything that is visible, everything that is live, everything that is visible in the website. That's what goes inside the body here. Now This is the first section of our HTML course, when I believe that you have understand the basic structure of the HTML course. So let's move to the next section. Now in this section, I just want you to customize this to anything you want. So you can change the title here. You can also change this H1 tag here, and it's just customize it and change it to anything that you want. Now coming back here, I just want to show you that this H1 tag it's not we have access to up to to write up to 6 headers. Now just look at this. I will just go down here and I will say H2. You can also say H2. Let me just say header 2. Let me make all this the same thing so that you see the difference, how different they are. So let me just say header 1. In here I can say H3. Let me say header 3. In here I can say H4. Let me say header 4. So in here now I will say H5. Sorry, uh, H H5, which is header 5, and here now I will say H6, which is header 6. So now if you look at how this is here, you're going to understand that all these header have different size. You can see now they are different size. The header, the H1 is bigger, it's more larger than the H2, same as the H3, H4, H5, and H6. That's how it is in HTML. We can write up to H6. I know that you can use this so multiple times. It's not just once. You can see I can use my H1 multiple times. I can use my H2 as multiple times as I want. So this is just how HTML works. This is the 6 header tags that we have in HTML: H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, and H6. These are the 6 header tags we have in HTML. Now I want to also introduce you to P. First of all, let's leave this like this. I want to also introduce you to the P tag, which is the paragraph, which stands for paragraph. The P tag, which stands for paragraph. So let me just do something called lorem here, Lorem, and click. So now what lorem does here is just give me a sample of some documents. You can see, it just give me some documents here. So we can't read that. It's just on a document that lorem give to me here. So you can see now that the P tag here is just used to write in a paragraph. The H1 here is used to write a header. For an example, we can have a header up there, then we can have a subheading. We can use H1 as our heading. We can have a subheading down here, because still have a subheading down here. You can see now our heading here will be bigger than the subheading. So that's just things you can do with HTML. You also have P tag here. You can also use P tag in here in HTML. So you can see. So before we continue, something I just want to show you is that to be a great developer, it's not just by watching tutorials, it's not just by following what I'm doing. Try to experiment. Try to pause this video, build something beautiful with just what I've shown you. Try to build something beautiful, change all this. You can have paragraphs. You can use this to do a lot of things. Add paragraphs, add multiple paragraphs. Just experiment, do a lot of things with this before you continue this course. So today we have learned what HTML is, how websites are structured. We also know how websites are structured. We also know how to create an HTML file. We also learn how to run a website. So in the next lesson, we will go deeper into HTML and you will learn how to develop and structure professional website. Trust me, things are about to get very, very interesting now. And I will see you in that next lesson.